everyone, it's Jennifer from Caffeinated Papercuts, and I'm here today to show you how I made the 2 inlaid coffee cup cards for the Coffee Lovers Blog Hop. So I'm going to be using the absolutely adorable coffee cup die from Simon Says Stamp that's in their October kit, and the stamps, the What's Brewing stamps as well. And then I've already cut out and kind of laid out the way I want them a whole bunch of 1/4-inch strips of some of my scraps of paper. If you're like me, we all have huge bins of paper laying around, and this is a great way to use them up and get 2 cards for the price of 1. So I'm going to move these out of the way a little bit here. Kind of pre-figured out the order I want them in, so I don't really want to mess them up. And then I happen to have cream on hand, but it's just 20-pound printer paper because you're not going to see it. I just need it as a base to lay all my paper out on. And then to stick it all down, I'm using my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. So, let's get the cap off here. I'm going to liberally apply a whole bunch of glue. And of course, since it's 20-pound paper, it really wants to wrinkle. But it's okay, because once we start layering the cardstock on, it'll be fine. There we go. That feels nice and sticky. And then I'm just going to carefully line up my very first one so that I know I have the bottom. Come on. There we go. All right, and then I can just keep building on top of that. So we're going to do floral, and then the gray, stripes, and it's overhanging some, and that's just fine. I can go back later and easily trim it off. I'd rather have too much than not enough and really have to work on lining it up exactly. Because who wants to do that if you don't want to? Alright, different floral. We're going to end the pattern with the chocolate, and then we're just going to go through again. And it does go pretty quick. I think the hardest part so far was trying to match papers together and saying, yes, I'm going to cut these. Not, no, but I might want to save something for a later project. Which is why we kept them all in the first place, right? The nice thing about these is, like this striped one here, the other side is actually the yellow. So I got to kind of cheat a little and easily match by using both sides of the paper. Polka dots, chocolate. Alright, last layer. And then when this is done, it's going to wind up getting die cut with that new coffee cup that I love so much. Alright, and then chocolate on top. Just gonna really rub down on these. Make sure they're all nice and stuck. Alright, there. And then I'm just gonna flip it over, trim it up. And yes, these are the new giant Tim Holtz scissors that are beyond awesome. I love them so much. Let's just look how quick and easy as they're trimming up. And I'm actually going to leave the brown overhanging a little bit. I can always switch my card around a little later so that the overhang isn't obvious. Alright, so now I'm going to take I'm using the magnetic die plate for my big shot. One of the cutting plates. I'm just going to line up the coffee cup as much in the middle as I can. Just kind of eyeballing it here. Since it's the focal point of the card, I don't want to go too far over. Alright. Just going to run this through my big kick. Alright, there we go. Of course, the fun part is getting it back off. One good or the bad of magnets. Okay, there's the heart, and then I'm going to want to keep all the small pieces that came with it. I'm just going to grab my poker here to help it release this. Look how cute! Oh my god, I love it so much. Alright. Handle. Oh, and the inside of the coffee cup. Alright. So now what I'm going to do is the exact same thing with a piece of white cardstock, because this is what's going to make our inlay an inlay. I'm just going to kind of line it up again. Doesn't have to be exact. If it did, I'd just be grabbing the ruler. And there we go. Send this one through as well. Alright, so the white one is all done. And same thing out. This one popped out really easily. Since the papers are a little layered, that one was a little more stuck. And then same thing, I'm going to keep them together. There's the white. Oops. There we go. There's the heart. There's the white inlay. Alright, get these out of the way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use all our pieces and we're going to build our inlays. Oh, uh-oh. I just realized the handle is stuck. There we go. See, make sure you have all the pieces. Okay, and we're going to do this by using a couple more pieces of the paper just as a backer so we can lay everything back in together. So I'm going to grab my Yoo-hoo again here. Of course, I put the lid back on because that's what you do so the glue doesn't dry out. And then you go, wait, I wasn't done using that. Typical. And I'm actually just going to start with the white and just line it up. And then this one is going to get our fun pattern paper one. And it just lays in oh so nicely. And then it's going to get the white cardstock pieces here. Come on, heart. That. And then inside of the cup. Whoop, uh-oh. Come on. Have enough glue. Yes, okay. Then I hope you can see. See, it's just all one layer. Look at that. So pretty. So we're going to set that aside. Then we're going to do the same thing with our there we go, pattern paper. Only difference being this one is going to get the white coffee mug with all of the pattern paper inlays. So we're going to line that up again. Oh, you know what? Just want this a little bigger, so let's line it up this way. I haven't decided if I'm trimming that off yet, so we should do it like this. And then this one is going to get our white coffee cup. with our pattern paper hearts. And oh, perfect. This time the inside of the coffee cup just happens to look kind of coffee colored. Come on. And our handle. And apparently I went over with the paper just a little bit. Just going to trim that up quick. Come on. There we go. And there's our 2 card fronts. Awesome. Alright, so I've decided I want to use the same sentiment on both cards, just to kind of keep them going with the whole same but different. And I'm going to use the Friendship Has Its Perks, just because it's a really nice sentiment. And it really goes for any occasion. You could tuck a gift card in there, you could have it be a birthday or a thank you, or just because. So I'm just tucking that on my clear block, and I was going to use espresso truffle, but I'm thinking with all the grays, I want a gray instead, so I'm going to go with the Simon Says Stamp Slate. Ink it up. I'm doing this one first, so I think I'm going to heat emboss the other one. Let's should be all right. Just kind of line it up right underneath. And sometimes you just need to stamp twice. That's okay. It's the beauty of clear stamps. You can see where you're going. Hopefully. Up again. There. Okay, so let's set this one aside to dry. Just a little bit. It's a dye ink, so it goes pretty quick. And then I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Just clean off the stamp a little bit here, especially since I'm about to use the embossing powder. And get off whatever else is on here today. Alright, there we go. And then I'm going to use my Distress Embossing ink. I'm going to try out my Hero Arts white embossing powder. And since I'm going to be embossing, I'm going to grab my little embossing pack here and just hopefully get it ready to go. And yeah, got my heat gun too. Alright, so let's get this all inked up. I wanted to do the embossing in white because I don't really think any other color is going to show up. I'm going to try to add for aim where it's a little darker. All right, let's try it right there. There we go. Give that a quick clean again. It's embossing ink. It will stay on there forever otherwise. All right, move everything out of the way. And this is actually going to wind up in one of my little containers here. So I'm just going to grab that to dump it into. Make sure everything is covered. All right. Didn't need the spoon. I'm going to grab my heat tool, and here we go. Okay, and this is one of these times where experimentation doesn't quite come out the way you want it to. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Where the embossing was on this really thick gray cardstock, it came out pretty amazing. But see where it kind of switched down to the striped, which is a slightly different coating? It came out, well, pretty crappy. So, zoom back in here. We are going to plan B. And plan B is using the Mama Elephant bold banner die and making a banner that's going to go over the top instead. So I'm going to grab the same slate ink, and there's my stamp. Grab my stamp and try this with a different way. I'm sure this has happened to everyone. I know it's happened to me enough times. Okay, so that was a dumble stamp. Oh. It is one of those days where nothing goes exactly what you think. To top it all off, remember this one? Yeah, guess who didn't double stamp so well? So it's getting a banner too. And look, they'll still match. Alright. So the fun part about this die is it's got these little perforations. So you can fold, make that cute banner look. So I'm going to do that quick. And then it's just going to wind up just going over the top there. Kind of lining it up so it still sees some of the pretty paper behind it. Yeah, that'll be good. Alright, so I'm going to use some of my, grab that one, favorite foam tape ever. Yes, this roll started out much bigger. I've used a lot of it because I can never see the point in using those cute little squares you buy because I use so much foam tape on everything. So I'm going to cut some pieces off here. And peel. And line it up where I want it. There we go. Same with the other one. See, when everything goes the way you want it to, it's still really a very fast way to suddenly have 2 cards when you're done. Imagine if I was having this kind of headache for one. Oh wait, I did the other night. You guys can go look on the blog. Search for the Hero Arts Mistletoe card and read all about the headache that one was for me. Alright. Both have their banners. Cut down 2 card bases to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 square, which means they will still fit in a standard A2 envelope, so you don't have to pay any extra for postage. Yay! And yet it's still the look of a fun, pretty square card. So I'm just going to foam tape on here. And you see some people cover the entire back I've kind of discovered if you aim for kind of the sides, pick up the corners in the middle, you really don't need to. Now that said, it depends on the card. This is just a square on top of another square, so it's really not that intricate. I've used more on other ones. These make it easy. All right, I'm just going to line it up. And right, there's one. And the other one. I did decide to leave that chocolate strip kind of overhanging a little bit. I laid it over it. It still looks fine. I'm going to make sure to pop it up there. Middle. Edge. Edge. It's also so much easier. Just peel out the backings of a few pieces than, you know, like 100. Right side up is always good. Line this one up as well. There we go. Oh, where'd it go? 2 cards. And really all I did was cutting for 1. So taking a look at them again, I decided to add some clear Wink of Stella to the middle hearts, just to give it a little bit of shimmer. And then I'm using some of the Pretty Pink Posh 4mm sequins on each of the cards. So I just need to attach those. And I'm using the Ranger Multimedia Matte, which is amazing, dries clear. You can really get, since it's a smaller nozzle, you can get just enough for these. And tweezers, because, well, I can only hold them so well. So I just laid them out quick so I know where I want them to go. And then I'm just kind of gonna, let's see, pick them up and move them out of the way. Just get a bit of the multi-matte down for each one. I have to say, I've rather become a sequin snob. I love using them whenever I can. And I love how, unlike glitter, it's really not that girly. So you can easily sneak some sequins into the guy card as well. Like, even though this one has a bit of floral on it, I could so see giving it to a guy. That one. And that one I'm using the bronze. And this one I'm using one of my favorites, which has actually become the clear. It's funny, you wouldn't think clear would be a favorite color, but they just add so much shine. It's amazing. I wish I had realized sooner how much I love them, because I would have gotten even more. So maybe it's a good thing I didn't. Alright, last one. I'm just using the edge of the tweezers to make sure they kind of get down into the glue. Put the cap on before I have a horrible accident. And there we go. There's the shimmer of the heart, the shimmer of the sequins. There. 2 cards in, what, under 20 minutes, I think? So I will have a link to the blog post below where I will list everything that I used in case you want to try it yourself. Thank you so much for watching and joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!